Hello, Falcons. This is Ms. Fritz, your KH librarian, to talk to you today about The Young Elites by Marie Lu. Marie Lu is also the author of Legend and the books that follow it. So if you are a fan of the Legend series, you might give The Young Elites a try. This series of books has characters that have special powers. And we meet the characters and they set up this fantasy world for us in this first book of the series called The Young Elites. Let me read to you from the inside front cover. I am tired of being used, hurt, and cast aside. Adelina Amaterasu is a survivor of the blood fever. A decade ago, the deadly illness swept through her nation. Most of the infected perished, while many of the children who survived were left with strange markings. Adelina's black hair turned silver, her lashes went pale, and now she has only a jagged scar where her left eye once was. Her cruel father believes she is a malfetto, an abomination, ruining their family's good name and standing in the way of their fortune. But some of the fever's survivors are rumored to possess more than just scars. They are believed to have mysterious and powerful gifts, and though their identities remain secret, they have come to be called the Young Elites. Terran Santoro works for the king. As leader of the Inquisition Axis, it is his job to seek out the Young Elites, to destroy them before they destroy the nation. He believes the Young Elites to be dangerous and vengeful, but it's Terran who may possess the darkest secret of them all. Enzo Valenciano is a member of the Dagger Society. This secret sect of young elites seeks out others like them before the Inquisition Axis can. But when the Daggers find Adelina, they discover someone with powers like they've never seen before. I loved reading The Young Elites. The world that Marie Lu sets up in this fantasy novel is one that is very different from other books that I have read. It is set back in what you would think of as medieval times. They give you years and months and dates to go with several of the entries, and every chapter is from the point of view of a different character, either Adelina, Terran, or Enzo. And so I like how it gives us different perspectives. I like how it tells us the different dates when things are occurring, and it tells us where things are occurring. There are maps and other things like that that are included as needed in the book. Let me read to you from chapter 1. 400 have died here. I pray that yours are faring better. The city has canceled celebrations of the spring moons on quarantine orders, and the typical masquerades have become as scarce as meat and eggs. Most of the children in our ward are emerging from their illness with rather peculiar side effects. One young girl's hair turned from gold to black overnight. A 6-year-old boy has scars running down his face without ever having been touched. The other doctors are quite terrified. Please let me know if you see a similar trend, sir. I sense something unusual shifting in the wind, and am most anxious to study this effect. Letter from Dr. Siriano Baglio to Dr. Mariana Cisegna, 31 Aubrey, 1348, Southeastern Districts of Dahlia, Kenitra. 13 Juno, 1361, City of Dahlia, Southern Kenitra, the Sea Lands. Some hate us, think us outlaws to hang on the gallows. Some fear us, think us demons to burn at the stake. Some worship us, think us children of the gods. But all know us. Unknown source on the Young Elites. Adelina Amaterasu. I'm going to die tomorrow morning. That's what the Inquisitors tell me anyway when they visit my cell. I've been in here for weeks. I know this only because I've been counting the number of times my meals come. 1 day, 2 days, 4 days, a week, 2 weeks, 3. I stopped counting after that. The hours run together, an endless train of nothingness, filled with different slants of light, and the shiver of cold, wet stone, the pieces of my sanity, the disjointed whispers of my thoughts. But tomorrow, my time ends. They're going to burn me at the stake in the central market square for all to see. The Inquisitors tell me a crowd has already begun to gather outside. I sit straight, the way I was always taught. My shoulders don't touch the wall. It takes me a while to realize that I'm rocking back and forth, perhaps to stay sane, perhaps just to keep warm. I hum an old lullaby, too, one my mother used to sing to me when I was very little. I do my best to imitate her voice, a sweet and delicate sound, but my notes come out cracked and hoarse, nothing like what I remember. It's so damp down here. Water trickles from above my door and has painted a groove into the stone wall, discolored green and black with grime. My hair is matted and my nails are caked with blood and dirt. I want to scrub them clean. Is it strange that all I can think about on my last day is how filthy I am? If my little sister were here, she'd murmur something reassuring and soak my hands in warm water. I can't stop wondering if she's okay. She hasn't come to see me. I lower my head into my hands. How did I end up like this? But I know how, of course. It's because I'm a murderer. It happened several weeks earlier on a stormy night at my father's villa. I couldn't sleep. Rain fell and lightning reflected off the window of my bedchamber, but even the storm couldn't drown out the conversation from downstairs. My father and his guest were talking about me, of course. My father's late-night conversations were always about me. I was the talk of my family's Eastern Dahlia district. Adelina Amateru, they all said. Oh, she's one of those who survived the fever a decade ago. Poor thing, her father will have a hard time marrying her off. No one meant because I wasn't beautiful. I'm not being arrogant, only honest. My nursemaid once told me that any man who ever laid eyes on my late mother was now waiting curiously to see how her 2 daughters would blossom into women. My younger sister Violetta was only 14 and already the budding image of perfection. Unlike me, Violetta had inherited our mother's rosy temperament and innocent charm. She'd kiss my cheeks and laugh and twirl and dream. When we were very small, we'd sit together in the garden and she would braid periwinkles into my hair. I would sing to her. She would make up games. We loved each other. Once. My father would bring Violetta jewels and watch her clap her hands in delight as he strung them around her neck. He would buy her exquisite dresses that arrived in port from the farthest ends of the world. He would tell her stories and kiss her good night. He would remind her how beautiful she was, how far she would raise our family standing with a good marriage, how she could attract princes and kings if she desired. Violetta already had a line of suitors eager to secure her hand, and my father would tell each of them to be patient, that they could not marry her until she turned 17. What a caring father, everyone thought. Of course, Violetta didn't escape all of my father's cruelty. He purposely bought her dresses that were tight and painful. He enjoyed seeing her feet bleed from the hard jeweled shoes he encouraged her to wear. Still, he loved her in his own way. It's different, you see, because she was his investment. I was another story. Unlike my sister, blessed with shining black hair to complement her dark eyes and rich olive skin, I am flawed. And by flawed, I mean this. When I was 4 years old, the blood fever reached its peak, and everyone in Kenitra barred their homes in a state of panic. No use. My mother's sister and I all came down with the fever. You could always tell who was infected. Strange, mottled patterns showed up on the skin. Our hair and lashes flitted from one color to another, and pink, blood-tinged tears ran from our eyes. I still remember the smell of sickness in our house, the burn of brandy on my lips. My left eye became so swollen that a doctor had to remove it. He did it with a red-hot knife and a pair of burning tongs. So yes, you could say I am flawed, marked, a malfetto. While my sister emerged from the fever unscathed, I now have only a scar where my left eye used to be. While my sister's hair remained a glossy black, the strands of my hair and lashes turned a strange, ever-shifting silver, so that in the sunlight they looked close to white, like a winter moon, and in the dark they changed to a deep gray, shimmering silk spun from metal. At least I fared better than Mother did. Mother, like every infected adult, died. I remember crying in her empty bedchamber each night, wishing the fever had taken Father instead. My father and his mysterious guest were still talking downstairs. My curiosity got the best of me, and I swung my legs over the side of my bed, crept toward my chamber door on light feet, and opened it a crack. Dim candlelight illuminated the hall outside. Below, my father sat across from a tall, broad-shouldered man with graying hair at his temples, his hair tied back at the nape of his neck in a short, customary tail, the velvet of his coat shining black and orange in the light. My father's coat was velvet, too, but the material was worn thin. Before the blood fever crippled our country, his clothes would have been as luxurious as his guests. But now, it's hard to keep good trade relations when you have a Malfeto daughter tainting your family name. Both men drank wine. Father must be in a negotiating mood tonight, I thought, to have tapped one of our last good casks. I opened the door a little wider, crept out into the hall, and sat, knees to my chin, along the stairs. My favorite spot. Sometimes I'd pretend I was a queen, and that I stood here on a palace balcony looking down at my groveling subjects. Now I took up my usual crouch and listened closely to the conversation downstairs. As always, I made sure my hair covered my scar. My hand rested awkwardly on the staircase. My father had broken my fourth finger, and it never healed straight. Even now I could not curl it properly around the railing. "I don't mean to insult you, Master Amaterasu," the man said to my father. "You are a merchant of good reputation, but that was a long time ago. I don't want to be seen doing business with a Malfeto family. Bad luck, you know. There's little you can offer me." My father kept a smile on his face, the forced smile of a business transaction. "There are still lenders in town who work with me. I can pay you back as soon as the port traffic picks up. Tamarin silks and spices are in high demand this year." The man looked unimpressed. "The king's dumb as a dog," he replied, "and dogs are no good at running countries. The ports will be slow for years to come, I'm afraid, and with the new tax laws your debts will only grow. How can you possibly repay me?" My father leaned back in his chair, sipped his wine, and sighed. "There must be something I can offer you." The man studied his glass of wine thoughtfully. The harsh lines of his face made me shiver. "Tell me about Adelina. How many offers have you received?" My father blushed, as if the wine hadn't left him red enough already. "Offers for Adelina's hand have been slow to come." The man smiled. "None for your little abomination, then?" My father's lips tightened. "Not as many as I'd like," he admitted. "What do the others say about her? The other suitors?" My father rubbed a hand across his face, admitting all my flaws embarrassed him. "They say the same thing. It always comes back to her markings. What can I tell you, sir? No one wants a Malfeto bearing his children." The man listened, making sympathetic sounds. "Haven't you heard the latest news from Ostenzia? 2 noblemen walking home from the opera were found burned to a crisp." My father had quickly changed tack, hoping now that the stranger would take pity on him. "Scorch marks on the wall, their bodies melted from the inside out. Everyone is frightened of Malfetos, sir. Even you are reluctant to do business with me. Please, I'm helpless." I knew what my father spoke of. He was referring to very specific Malfetos, a rare handful of children who came out of the blood fever with scars far darker than mine, frightening abilities that don't belong in this world. Everyone talked about these Malfetos in hushed whispers. Most feared them and called them demons, but I secretly held them in awe. People said they could conjure fire out of thin air, could call the wind, could control beasts, could disappear, could kill in the blink of an eye. If you searched the black market, you'd find flat wooden engravings for sale, elaborately carved with their names, forbidden collectibles that supposedly meant they would protect you, or at least that they would not hurt you. No matter the opinion, everyone knew their names: the Reaper, Magiano, the Windwalker, the Alchemist, the Young Elites. The man shook his head. "I've heard that even the suitors who refuse Adelina still gape at her, sick with desire." He paused. "True, her markings are unfortunate, but a beautiful girl is a beautiful girl." Something strange glinted in his eyes. My stomach twisted at the sight, and I tucked my chin tighter against my knees as if for protection. My father looked confused. He sat up taller in his chair and pointed his wineglass at the man. "Are you making me an offer for Adelina's hand?" To find out what happens with Adelina, how it is that she comes to be a murderer, how it is that she joins up with the Young Elites, and to see what it is that the Young Elites do and who they are, you will have to read The Young Elites by Marie Lu, available at your KH library.